this is one that you can take to the bank. This is Harod Spring. Remember, you have to imagine this as it was during the period of the Judges. Now the period, back up just a little bit, we don't want to. During the period of the Judges, I date the period of the Judges from 1375 down to 1051 as the period between when the children of Israel came into the land, Joshua died, and the period of the Judges began. And you can read about that in the book of Judges, where you have these cycles over and over again of rest, rebellion, repentance, restoration, rest, and on and on. But this site, of course, they have the spring bubbles out of from underneath Mount Gilboa, which is behind us here. And just to get your bearings, this water would have been flowing out at a rapid rate. A lot of water comes out of here. I don't know just exactly. They've probably rerouted some of the water, but it's usually coming out at a good clip. And you can see how lush and green it is here. It's a beautiful place. But now to go back in time to help you to understand how this happened, the Midianites were on the side of the hill over there, and we're going to read the scriptures in just a moment out of Judges chapter 7. Dr. Henderson's going to read it. That's Ha-Moray over there. The Midianites were on the side of that hill. Gideon and his men coming here. They have been out here. They're thirsty. They're tired. And they come to the water, and they start... when they see the water, they go for it. Many of them just get down, start lapping up the water like a dog, and by that means they put their faces down to the water. They spread out just like a dog will get down so that they could get as much as possible, probably putting water on their head and everything else. You can imagine what it would have been like marching to get to this point to where they were facing off against the Midianites who were over there. Thousands of men were with them. There had to be a lining up of the men in some way or another, because God said you've got too many, so there was a way of ferreting out who was going to go and who wasn't. But I want you to understand that this was not a random choice. Sometimes we just get the idea, you know, well, God chose this one, God chose that one, but God also looked for those who were vigilant, who were had the proper qualities of a soldier. And so when we talk about lapping up, we're talking about, like a dog, those that would go down and into the water, versus those that I will show you what happened actually when, as Dr. Henderson reads this, I will show you the kind of thing that would have happened where the distinction was made, where finally Gideon got down to his 300 men. Go ahead.
Then Gideon and all the people who were with him rose early and encamped beside the spring of Harod. And the camp of Midian was north of them, by the hill of Moreh in the valley. The Lord said to Gideon, "The people with you are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hand, lest Israel boast over me, saying, 'My own hand has saved me.' Now therefore proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, 'Whoever is fearful and trembling, let him return home and hurry away from Mount Gilead.' Then 22,000 of the people returned, and 10,000 remained. Then the Lord said to Gideon, 'The people are still too many. Take them down to the water, and I will test them for you there. And any one of whom I shall say to you, this one shall go with you, shall go with you. And any one of whom I say to you, this one shall not go with you, shall not go.' So he brought the people down to the water. And the Lord said to Gideon, 'Everyone who laps the water with his tongue, as a dog laps, you shall set him by himself. Likewise, everyone who kneels down to drink.' And the number of those who lapped, putting their hands to their mouths, was 300 men. But all the rest of the people knelt down to drink water. And the Lord said to Gideon, "With the 300 men who lapped I will save you, and give the Midianites into your hand. And let all the others go, every man to his home." So the people took provisions in their hands and their trumpets. And he sent all the rest of Israel, every man to his tent, but retained the 300 men. And the camp of Midian was below him in the valley.
Here's what happened. The way that God separated, the men that got down, they would have been right on the water, and actually went down in the water, stooped down. Those were the ones that were rejected. Now what about those that he kept? Watch this. A man would have a staff, his weapon, in his hand. He would come to the water. He would look down all around him. He would pick up water. He would drink. He would suck it just as a dog would bring it to his mouth and get down. He would pull that up, looking around. What's the difference? Vigilance, attention. You're always ready. That's the picture of the 300. It wasn't just something random. It wasn't, let's just pick out this color or that color. This group of good-looking versus, no, it was those that dove into the water and just were consumed, and those that even when they were tired, they were still ready. You need to understand that many times God asks people to do things, and we think that all of this is random. But God looks at the heart. God looks at the heart and those who are ready for great things. If you don't have a heart to serve God, God knows that. If you're consumed with yourself, God knows that. All of these things are part of what came out outwardly in what was happening with Gideon and the Israelites that day. And so when you come over here, and you'll be back, many of you will be back, some of you will come and teach one day, just remember, help the people to understand what happened at these sites. And that way they can get a better idea themselves of what's going on.